Yeah. If you just break down one by one, if you just resolve the macro variable one by one. So first thing is, so in the first loop, what will I be getting, ma'am? I equal to 1, right? Okay. So the first loop is I equal to 1, and then uh, after the do loop, the var will have, so in terms of ampersand ds, I have ds. In terms of ampersand I have 1. If I just combine these two, if I just concatenate these two, I'll be getting var1 equal to ds1, right, ma'am? Clear on this, right,
Yeah.
ma'am?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. And next step is I'm appending this base ds is equal to, so append ds1 to dss, right, ma'am? So I'm appending var1, so var1 to base dss, and then run. Okay, ma'am? So please remember this, ma'am. Every time whenever you open a do loop, as you know, it should end with, it should end with end, right? The same thing here in terms of macros, it should end with percentage end. Okay, before the main statement. No, you can end. No, you can have the end. Wherever you like. Okay, wherever you feel the do loop is fine until now. Until this particular statement, it's okay. But it should end with end statement, percentage end statement. Okay, always make sure that whenever you create a do loop, it should always end with a percentage end statement. So it can be before percentage meant, just to be on a safer side. You can just end this. You can mention this percentage end statement before the meant statement, but not after the meant statement. Okay, only before the end meant statement. Before the meant statement. Okay. So this is the first loop. Okay. Let's see now. This is the first. This is the first loop now. Okay. Now we'll run this one. Okay. 1 second. Okay. So we ran this one. Now I'll just run this until 5 loops. Okay. See here. Total we have 95. Right, ma'am? So why 95, ma'am? So how many are there? In class? 19, right?
19.
Okay, 19 into
Yeah.
5. Right, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it, right? If you just go to the log, just go to the log. Okay. The first one, DS1. It got appended to DSS. And next one, DS2. It got appended to DSS. So in DSS, we have 19 observations. By appending DS1 to DSS. And again, by appending DS2 to DSS, we got 38 observations. By appending DS3 to DSS, we got 57 observations, and so on. DS4 to DSS, DS5 to DSS. Total 95 observations. Clear, ma'am? Any questions on this do loops?
So if we have different data set names, we have to just update it.
Yes, ma'am. So based on the dataset name, based on the condition, we can create our, around do loops. Now, do loops is not confined to just block append. We can have So, whenever we feel, we have to run the iteration for this particular data step. So, for this particular piece of code, there you can easily use do loops. If you just observe carefully, previously we used to use do loops confined between data and run statements, right?
Mm.
Right. So in terms of macro variables, we can create do loops openly. Okay, between openly, and we can pass these do loops in this particular. For example, we can write as many codes as possible, in between this macro and the main statement, right? Okay. So in that way, we can use we can use do loops, wherever possible we want. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you have like different data sets that you want to append, like in this case, we use SAS help dot SAS. Right?
Sorry, ma'am, come again.
All 5 data sets were same this in this particular example.
Yeah.
In case if we have like different data set names, where do we mention that?
So you mean different data set name means how do you want to define that?
Yeah, where do we mention the names of those data sets?
Okay. Uh, oh, I mean you mean to say, for example, this DS with with some other name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am, that can't be, ma'am, because you have to thing is, whenever whenever you're appending something, it should be in an order, right? So uh, if it's a if it is if it's a different names, okay, then that's not possible if it have different names. So names which which have some kind of an identical way, identical data set names. But thing is, the number changes. I mean, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. The number changes apart from the data set name. In that way, now we can use these do loops. Normally, so what happens in terms of automation is, in real time, whenever you want to append some data sets to a to a base data set, okay, you get the dataset name similar to similar to the the dataset name. Okay. So for example, you're getting a dataset name on a daily basis. The same name, but thing is, the last thing changes. I mean, no, for example, the first day you get data, sorry, no, the dataset name to be dataset 2023, and second you get dataset 2024. Else you get dataset 2023 01, month is 06, and days 04. And again you get here 0605. In this way you get dataset on daily basis. The only change is the month and the date, current date, right? So in that way you have to create a date macro variable such that a date macro variable and the data set here will be appended in this way. Okay. Yeah.
So Raju, can we not use like that if we have the data set different name, like so ds equal to work dot like ds1
Mm-hmm.
demo1 like
Mm-hmm.
that we cannot use work dot ds1 work dot demo1 like that we cannot use. Can we use the keyword parameter and
So in that way, so if you want to use in that way, then you have to pass your own macro, right? For example, I have different data sets. I'll pass Mac 15, some other data set name,
no in the
demo.
same app?
No, but thing if you see here, we are passing only one macro variable, right? We are passing here, we are passing here one macro variable, right?
So we are creating the data set, right? That
Yeah.
means
Mm-hmm.
macro variable name, right? That one.
Where, ma'am?
Can we not? We are creating, that is the micro variable, right?
Here,
The
here's the
this
macro
is
variable, right?
micro. Yeah.
This one. Okay. So we
So can
pass
we
here
not?
DS. I mean
Yeah,
our data set
ds
name.
equal to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So can we not do that? Ds equal to work dot ds1, work dot demo one. Can we not do that?
Actually, ma'am, no, I didn't get. I know I didn't get your question here. DS
So
equal to you mean work
if we
dot.
have different, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if we have the different data set name,
Mm-hmm.
then can we not use the keyword parameter and mention that work dot demo one, work dot ds1, like that?
Okay, okay, I get your point, ma'am. For example,
Yeah.
I have to pass work. So, so it should be DS equal to uh DS1, comma DS equal to DS2. That's what you mean to say, right?
Not ds equal to
Uh-huh.
comma and work dot ds, because we are taking from the work
Yeah,
library.
work. It's okay. No need to mention, ma'am. If it's default, no need to
That's it. Yeah,
mention.
ds2 and all.
Okay,
Yeah, ds2 comma ds2.
Come DS2. So again, no, we have to pass here, ma'am. We have to pass here, right? Come on,
Yeah, comma
DS2.
ds2. That's it. No, no, comma ds2. We don't need to use ds2 equal to.
I mean, you mean to say both mixed way.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, for example, I'm passing here DS, and again, so I'm passing here DS equal to, and again, DS2 equal to. That's it, right? You mean to say?
No, Raju, we are creating only one macro variable name, right? They're ds, right?
Yeah,
So what I'm trying to say is ds equal to ds1, ds2, ds3, like
ma'am.
that. If we have a different name, can we not do that? That's what I'm
Whatever,
asking.
okay, whatever you pass in the no, whatever you pass in the in the macro name, okay, only that can be retained in the no while calling the macro name here. No, you cannot pass a new one apart from that. You got my point, right?
And that I know, Raju.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So, no, what is the question? I didn't get you, ma'am.
Yeah. Actually, what I'm trying to say is if we
Mm-hmm.
have the different data set name,
Uh-huh.
we're saying if we can only give the data set name which has the same kind of same name, right?
Right.
So if we have the different data set name,
Mm-hmm.
so can we do that like ds equal to, because ds is the macro variable we are creating,
Ma'am,
right?
that's what, ma'am. Here you're creating only the position parameters. And again, here
Yeah,
you can't create, keyword parameters here.
yeah, that I know, Raju.
Mm-hmm.
So both where if we are using the keyword parameter,
Mm-hmm.
both for there also and here also.
Okay.
Okay.
For example,
Yeah.
DS equal to, and
Yeah.
again
So
DS
ds
equal
equal
to.
to,
Okay.
yes. If we have the different name, then we can uh, like ds equal to demo one, then
Okay.
ds, yeah, then the comma,
Okay.
then we can ds, so ds1 you can take it. Yeah.
This DS1, that's it.
Yeah. So can we do in this way the both the data set?
No, ma'am. So whatever you have to pass here, the same thing should be here, ma'am.
Okay.
Whatever you passed in the Mac, whatever you passed in the Mac 1.5, while creating the macro name, the same name should be here. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your question, ma'am?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Actually, no, but that's fine, Raju.
No, ma'am, do one thing, just
I'll, I'll
write it
let
down
you
in the
know.
chat, ma'am. I'll just see. No, what's the question?
Yeah.
The code,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
write the code in the chat.
Yeah, sure, Raju.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, any questions on this? Do loop?
No,
Yeah. I mean, I don't have, I mean, I mentioned any do loop questions. Let me see if I have mentioned any do loops examples here. Apart from this do equal 1 to 5, we can create what okay. One second, no? Let's search for an example. Yeah, if you see here, ma'am. Mm, no. Yep. We just start with this, ma'am. It's still unclear for you. So we are creating a macro. Okay, just a moment, ma'am. For example, so what I have, ma'am, no, I'm just creating a list such that you might have to do this in the wire statement. The wire statement. Okay. Then some of if you see here, I'm generating a list of variables. Okay. Okay. If you see here, in some of our projects, we often use SAS datasets with numbered series of variables, right? Such as column 1 to column 1 underscore line 1 to column 50 underscore line 1. Okay. In this way, in a particular task, we may want to calculate the mean of values. Okay. We are facing two options. List these variables one by one in the where statement, or write a few lines of code dynamically. Okay, generate the list of these variables. Okay. For a repetition of so many items, the following code is better. So, okay. Instead of writing column one where one, so, instead of writing column one line one, column two line two, column three line three until column 50 line 50. Okay. We can generate directly in terms of here. In terms of using a do loop here. Okay. Uh, person is mend. Then just a moment, ma'am. Why are we not getting this one? We got line one, column one, line five, and then yeah, he says the code works, but the code is not working. Let me just check this, ma'am. So moment stop recording. Didn't recording. This will be a simple example in the two loops. Okay. So this one do count equal to 1 to total count. So I have mentioned. I just want to this one. Yeah. So parameters is nothing but whatever we just create after this in the macro name. Okay. So once we use this personal macro, and after that we create a macro name. So in the macro name we create we create parameters. Okay. So in terms of parameters, we have two types of parameters, which are keyword parameter and the other one is position parameters. Okay. So first, we'll just go through this, position parameters. So positional parameter is nothing but just passing the parameters directly. So which means that I just copy this one. Yeah. So it's same thing, which we have learned at the at the start of the macro session. Okay. So just passing this, just passing this in the in the personal macro, pass, create a macro name and then pass the positional parameters, whichever you want, whichever you want it, I mean, whichever you want to create as a macro variable in a, in a particular SAS code, right? So for example, if you consider this uh, rock import, we want this, data file equal to the file name, okay, and the end, out equal to the out name, okay, because we have, for example, you have bunch of files, and you want to change the file name, for the, for every, for every import, okay, and say, and simultaneously you have to change the output, for every import. So at that time, okay, at that time we use this, data file equal to ampersand file out equal to ampersand d name. So for this one, okay, so here we have created, two macro variables. One is file and the one is d name. So on these macro variables, we are passing the file name here and the output dataset name in the on the other hand. Okay. So for example, if I, if even for example, you have other files like CSV files. Okay. Okay. So at that time, you can even just, use, instead of Excel, you can create your own like DBMS. Okay. You just mention this DBMS name in the parameters, while passing the parameters, and same thing while passing the no, while passing the data for it. Okay. For example, the first file is Excel, make it as XLS. For example, the second file is CSV, you need to pass it as CSV. Okay. So the name positional means, so to name, the position, because so whatever the position, so whatever the position of the macro variables defined at the, at the start of the macro name, the same positions should be repeated here. Okay, the same position should be repeated, while calling the particular macro. So for example, if you just write XLS at the start, and then this, then this location at the, at the, at the second position, and the output data set name at the third position, so it won't work, because it'll throw an error, because this file this file will take the first position in the first position while calling the macro. So this d name will take the second position, while calling the macro. The same like DBMS, we'll take the we'll take the third position while calling the macro. So in this way, it'll take the, it'll take in a positional order. Okay. So whatever position we mention at the, while creating the macro name, the same position should be followed while calling the macro. Okay. Ma'am, clear on this position parameters? Any questions?
Yeah.
No.
So let's see the explanation here. So specifies one or more position parameters. You can specify positional parameters in any order, but in the macro invocation, the order in which you specify the values must match the order you list them in the macro statement. Clear, right, ma'am? Very good. We define more than one position parameter, use a comma to separate the parameters. Now we go. Now let's go to the keyword parameters. So these are all the other examples. Let's go to other examples. Come to the keyword parameters. So here, I mean, the previously what we have, in the, in the position parameters, we used just, all the macro variables names in a specific order, in the order whichever we like it. Okay, the same thing. So here, the change is, whatever the macro variable we create, it should be followed with the equal to symbol. Okay, so in this way, this need not be in a, in the position as we created while calling it. Okay, because it has a equal to symbol. So we can just directly mention dsn equal to anywhere in the, anywhere in the, anywhere in the, in the macro name while calling it, because it is equal to, eventually it will take dsn equal to whatever the date, whatever the information we have passed, dsn equal to so and so information, it will consider that information at the, while calling the particular macro variable. Okay, the only changes here, we have equal to symbol, you know all the macro variables, separated by commas. Okay, that's the only change here in terms of positional macro variables. Sorry, no, keyword macro variables. I'm sorry. I mean, apart from positional and apart from positional parameters, the change for the, the change for the keyword is, we add equal to symbol such that, we can just, change the positions, as, as we want. But we have to mention the equal to symbol such that, it just takes the information, based on the equal to symbol. Okay, I'm clear on this. The same thing. We just go
Yeah.
to the same example. So here we have file equal to, right? So just mention, uh, file equal to, and just mention dname equal to, and just mention dbm is equal to. Okay. So here the position is not important, but whatever the information you're passing after the equal to symbol should match the particular macro variable. So the position can be anywhere. It just, need not to follow the position, which we have defined at the, at the, at the start of the macro, macro name creation. So we can call it, as when we like, so such that the macro variable equal to symbol, I mean, the particular macro variable equal to should have information that, that satisfies the particular data. Ma'am, any questions on this? Clear on this? Hello?
Rajiv. No,
Sorry?
Rajiv.
Yeah.
No, Rajiv, no. Clear.
So these are two, two ways where we create the macro variable, ma'am. Okay. So all these are local macro variables, which can only be used in the, in this particular piece of code. I mean, whenever we call this particular import functionality or the import macro, so these macro variables, will only work in this confined to this particular person's import. Okay. So this, these macro variables cannot be used in the other part, in the other parts of the macros in the, in the particular session. Okay, as this being a local macro variables, so they can't be used in the other parts of the code. Okay, yeah. The next one is do statement. Okay. So we have do statement in the normal SAS, but here we have percentage do. So let's see the difference between that and this. Mhm. Yes. So now the do statement. So till now, we know what is do statement. It is normally used to, you know, create some, in terms of recurring values, to create iterations and all, right? So for example, so for example, if I just want to, if I just want to print numbers starting from 1 to 10, no, I'll just write use do I equal 1 to 10, output and stop. Okay. So here, I get numbers from 1 to 10, right? The same way, so, whenever we want to use do loops in terms of macro variables, okay, even with the help of do loops, so not even a percentage do is also used to create macro variables. Okay. For example, I have this data set. So I have data set. Okay. So every time, every time every time I'm getting a new data set and I want to append that data set to the base data set. Okay. So for example, I have DSS as the base data set and data equal to ampersand DS. So ampersand DS is the new data set. So every time I get, so every day, data is every day you get a new data set and and you want to pass and you want to append that new data set to the base data set. Okay. You know, you automate it and every day you pass a you pass a new data set name in the macro variable. Okay. It'll just get it'll get it'll get appended to the base data set. Okay. So in order to do that manually, so we pass the dataset name on a manual basis. I'm sorry, no, sorry. In order to do that, we pass the dataset in a, on a manual basis, right? No, it's still being a macros, but still, we pass a dataset name in the Mac, sorry, person's Mac 15, right? So in order to avoid that, we have this percentage do. Okay. So it help us to to run the iterations. Okay, let's see that now. I think it's missing here. So percentage macro, mac15 ds. Okay. Now let's just start one by one. Step, let's just discuss it step by step. Okay. Yeah. So what we want to do? So we want to append uh, DSS with the base data set is DSS with the with the data set which you are getting on a daily basis. Okay. So for example, we are getting a data set based on DS1, DS2, DS3, DS4, DS5, DS6, and so on. So what I do is I'll run a do loop. Okay. The syntax is simple, ma'am. It is percentage do, sorry, percentage do I equal to that is right. Okay. I equal to. So you want to run the iteration based on the numbers. For example, 1, 2. So 1 and again percentage 2. Okay. So apart from the macro variable creation, so here I is the macro variable, ma'am. So I is the macro variable, which is being created with the help of percentage do loop. Okay, percentage do. Okay. So percentage do I equal to 1 to percentage 2 to 5. Okay. So what I want, so here it states that I want to run the iteration from 1 to 5. Okay. Clear, ma'am, on this? Hello?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Just let me know in a,
Percentage do is also
sir,
creating a macro variable I.
ma'am, come again, ma'am. I didn't get you.
Percentage do
Uh-huh.
is creating a macro variable I.
Yes, ma'am.
What is percentage two doing?
Sorry?
Percentage two.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, it's a syntax, ma'am. Okay. So what we do is normally in data set, what we do, ma'am, we create do I equal to, sorry,
1 to 10.
1 to 10, right? Okay.
Right.
The same way, syntax the syntax while using do loops in the macro variable is percentage do I or something. It can be any variable that I equal to 1 and again percentage 2. Okay, that is syntax here. We see here in normal data step usage, we don't have any kind of a, my goodness. Okay, yeah. If you see here in terms of data step usage, we just have blanks, nothing in front of do and to, right? The same way, while you know while no while using this particular do loop, we need to have percentage. Okay, for to and do. Okay, that is syntax, ma'am. Okay, so
So
syntax is,
Rajiv,
yes, ma'am.
do we need to give the ampersand I there, or we don't
No,
need?
not required, ma'am. So if you see here, we are creating we are creating percentage macro. For example, we are creating how do you create a macro variable? Using let statement, ma'am. We use percentage let
Yeah,
macro
X. Yeah,
variable, right?
name.
Macro var equal to your name. I mean, equal to some name, right? Name. The same way here. Percentage do
Okay.
I equal to 1 to 2. Some sorry, 1 to 5. Okay, yeah, ma'am. Clear on this syntax here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and next one. Okay, next one. So next thing, what I want. So I want this person is let var1 equal to sysfunc. So no, why do you use sysfunc, right, ma'am?
It's normal function
Sorry,
in a macro. We use a normal function in a macro processor.
ma'am, coming in.
We use
Hello.
a function in a macro processor.
some function won't work, so we have to use the sys function.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So here we are using cat function. So in order to make the cat function to work, to work and to consider the data, the data created by using the cat function. So we have to use sysfunc in the macro variable. So cat of ampersand ds, comma ampersand I. Okay. So ampersand ds is this one, ampersand I is this one. Okay. So now what happens is, thing is, when we execute this macro code, the first thing is it'll run the loop. The first value is percentage do I equal to 1. Okay, I equal to 1. So what happens here, ma'am? So this works. Yeah, yeah. So this works. So we have in place of ds, we are passing ds here. Okay. So it becomes ds1. Okay, ds1 base equal to base equal to dss, and then data equal to ds1. Okay, so let's write this one separately. So at the first step, what happens, ma'am? The first loop runs. So that becomes ampersand I equal to ampersand I equal to 1. Okay, and next one. So what does var1 have? So var1 have, no, var1 will have ampersand var1 will have. So what is ampersand ds, ma'am? It is ds, right? So what is ampersand I? It is 1. Right, ma'am? Ma'am, you're getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See here.
Raju,
Yes, ma'am.
how this data set is reading in that? Like I did not understand.
One second.
Like
Okay.
from where
You
the
see,
value,
yeah,
how it is taking. Yeah.
yeah, ma'am. I get it. Okay. So, so we have here. So what's happening here is we are creating few of the macro variables in between this personal macro and main statement. Okay. Okay. So when we call this personal macro 1 5, so we are passing a data set name, D, naming it as DS.
Okay.
Okay. So this DS, what happens here, ma'am? So this DS will be equivalent to this ampersand ds. So while we execute this ampersand ds, we get as ds, right, ma'am? See here. So what is ampersand ds, ma'am? Ampersand, sorry, ampersand ds here. So what is the value of ampersand ds here?
So any data set name we will give.
No, we have passed here, right? We have passed ds here, right? Getting confused, ma'am?
We can
Yeah,
replace
I
this.
don't understand.
No, ma'am. One thing here, we can have the same name. We can have the same name in terms of macro variable and the value which we are passing to the particular macro variable. Okay. So here ds is a macro variable here, and we are passing ds as a dataset name here. Okay. So ampersand ds will be ds. Clear, ma'am, on this?
Okay, so they both are the like data set name is DS you are saying, right?
Yeah, dataset. So we are passing the dataset name as ds, but
Okay,
here we even named the macro variable as ds only. Okay,
okay.
got it, ma'am?
So basically I want to ask Rajiv,
Mm-hmm.
like are you taking this three data set which is above? So are you looping in that like one by one?
Which one, ma'am?
So in the above this macro there is one statement is there, right?
Which one?
Percentage. Mac, yeah. So are you trying to make the loop the for one data set? You're running this loop for the multiple data set, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is like how it is taking the data set, different data set from where it is taking.
From the work folder, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Because we haven't mentioned anything, right? Some library dot data set name, no, right? You only mentioned nothing. So by default, it will take work.ds, right, ma'am?
Okay.
So for example, every time, for example, what we do is, ma'am, data ds set SAS dot class and then run. Okay. So if, for example, I want to create another data set with the help of ds. So I just write it ds1 set ds, right? No, I just don't write it again as set work.ds, right? Okay. Because if I mention work dot or if I don't mention work dot, it'll be the same, right? The default is work library, right, ma'am? Hello?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. The same thing here. Same thing here. So we haven't mentioned any kind of library here. Okay. So it'll take all the data sets from the work itself. Okay.
So we have the multiple. So 1 to 5 means till 5 data set it will take. It means that
Exactly. Exactly. So we'll do one
there's
thing.
a first
We'll
5
do one.
will there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Totally, I created 5 datasets: DS1, DS2, DS3, DS4, DS5. Okay. Right. And now, okay, you see here, I'm passing just DS. I'm just passing DS. Okay. And one will be appended automatically with the help of cat function. Right. So here, if you consider if I go one by one, if I just if I just what do you call it? Yeah, ma'am. So yesterday we have asked for so in terms of examples, in terms of examples. So regarding this do loop, for example, for example, uh, what I can say, you have a you have a large data set, okay, large data set in which each and every data set has these as a variables, okay, quantity 1, quantity 2, quantity 10, until quantity 20. So you want to create labels for these variables, okay. So at that time, so you can easily create. So if you simply write content 1 equal to condition ID 1, content 2 equal to condition ID 2, content 20 equal to condition ID 20. So in terms of writing that, it will be a it will be a a big challenge, right? So uh, instead of that, you can directly pass this percentage label in the label statement. You got this, ma'am? By creating this, if you see here, by creating this label statement, okay, sorry. So you get in this way, okay, you get in this way for each and every step. So until what I'll do one thing, I'll just create a simple data set for you. Data, yes. Data points, put, Okay, we got this data set. Data PS one. Sorry. See here, ma'am. So we got silicon at one. There's a label here. So yeah, label we got it as content one here. Sorry. See it right, ma'am. So no. Oh, sorry. I didn't use the label statement. Okay. Why am I getting this? Hmm.
That okay?
Yeah.
Is the data value is a 5? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Now I got it. See here, I just forgot to mention the label. Yeah. If see here, we got the condition, right? Condition ID one. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Ranjan.
yeah. So yesterday, when we dealt with, so you see here, so we can directly use this percentage label with the personal macro with number of data in it, right? Same way, we can use do loops in this kind of examples, and same thing. Yesterday we used in terms of var list. Okay, so we used pay I equal to payment for visit. The same thing, we can use this for in terms of in terms of var statement. By creating that, I need, so this will be, yeah, no, so no, this will be again a label statement, and in terms of var, this one is completely messed up. Report sync I equal to 1 to n. Yeah, yeah, here. We see here, so we created column one underscore line one, right? So I resolves to one. So So I need column until COL 50 underscore line 1. So in this way, if you directly mention this particular percentage do list, in any var statement, okay, so I get the variables 1 to 50 in terms of, once I run this particular, no, once we run the particular code, okay, you got it right, ma'am. For example, if I create in this way, we have just 10 minutes left, ma'am. Uh, yeah, if I can create in this way, COL 1 underscore line 1, okay, yeah, three, yeah, underscore 4, okay. So I have these as variables, and I just want to print this. Print data equal to ds. So in the var statement, I would no, I just directly mention this particular thing. Percentage do list run. Okay. So I just want only for until 4. So in this way, no, you have to only run no, run this particular piece of code only until mend. Okay. Because it will resolve easily in the print statement. What happened to this again? It's column 1, line 1, column line 2, column line 2. That's what you. Right. Working. Yeah. Clear, ma'am? So I used where these columns. So I need to I need to get the data for four columns. I got data for 4 columns. So I used I used the do list here. So this do list will print the where columns. Where column one, column one, line one, column two, line two, column three, line two, column four, line one, in that way. So there's the other way to use the do loops, ma'am.
Variable names have to be the
So
same. Column
Sorry,
1, line 1.
come again, ma'am. I didn't get you, ma'am. Your voice is very low.
The variable names in the input statement
Mm-hmm.
should be the same. Like if you have different variable names, will it still pick it up? Like the column 1, line 1, observation, first observation.
No, the thing is, it should match with the data part in the data set. You got it right, ma'am? Yeah. You see here in your code, what you have mentioned is
Right.
you mentioned do I equal 1 to 19. So based on what, ma'am? So based on class name 1. Okay, right, ma'am? So what you have done, you have given class name. So here what we have, so what you have done is you have mentioned class name. I mean, the name column. Okay. So in the same way, so you have mentioned. Okay, we have 1 minute left. Okay. No, you have mentioned class name hyphen such that it will take until 1 to 19. The end can be anything. So it'll take 1 to the end. Okay. But you are mentioning ampersand I. Okay. So which means it will take the numbering, right? So even though class name is not same for all, right? Right, ma'am? But thing is you have mentioned the numbering. So numbering will gives you the the data part which you want to extract. If it's if it's not for the do loop, then then we can't extract this file, right? Right, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, so for anything, so in this case, even if it is not identical, for example, so for example, you want to store a particular macro in a in a particular library. So you want to store out in a particular macro in a particular library. Okay. So the options for this one is options. So the the syntax is options m stored option m stored options m stored SAS m store equal to options m stored SAS m store equal to the work underscore pre is the library name which I provided. Right now, the work underscore pre is the is the library name which I have provided, which is personal macro. So I want to print a data. Okay. So I have stored this macro. So this print macro I have stored in this work underscore pre. No, first I just only run this one. Okay. Then again, for example, I want to call this ampersand print, you know, in somewhere or the other program, which I gonna use. Okay. So in order to call the in order to call the macro, by specifying the particular library option, the option is SAS option. Sorry, options SAS autos. Okay. Either you can mention one library. Okay. Here, if I mention work underscore pre. Okay. Just to search. So for example, you know that it is there in this particular work underscore pre. Okay. And again, if you just call the macro, it doesn't run. Okay. So and again you can use multiple libraries here. Yeah. Uh, the other libraries are for me are is SAS strt, comma SAS underscore strt. Okay. So once I pull this one, I run this with the help of print. So I get the data. It's kind of showing storing a macro permanently in a particular libraries. Okay. Yeah. So in this way, you can store whatever. So here the macro means the print, ma'am. Okay. So print is the macro. So in this way, you can store whatever what are the macros you feel you want to call them in the you feel like you will call them you'll call these macros uh, in the further coding. Okay. You can store the macro in this way. Got it, ma'am? So the option to store the macro is options m stored SAS m store. So m stored is something that so it will consider it just tells us that, okay, so this particular macro to be stored. Okay, and SAS sum store is something that where to store the macro. See here. And stored is something that use stored compiled macros. So SAS sum store is library reference, associated with SAS data library containing catalog of compiled stored macros. Okay, specify a library where you want to store your macros permanent. Right, ma'am? And next one is to call the macro. This one is so to call the macro, you have to check whether whether the macro autocall feature by default it will be switched on. Okay. So autocall feature, whether it is switched on or switched off. Okay. By default, always macro autocall feature is switched on. Okay. So just to check, you can directly mention options M auto source. If you want to switch off the autocall feature, you can use options no M auto source. Okay. So once you want to call the particular macro, okay, to not to run a piece of code, you can directly use options SAS autos. SAS autos equal to the libraries or the library. Okay. Right, ma'am. Any questions here?
Can you please repeat the whole thing one more time?
Okay. So normally, if you want to store a macro permanently in a library, we use this option called option sem stored SAS store equal library name. Okay. You got this point, right, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah. So you have passed, you have created couple of macro variables. Okay. Now you want to call the macro variable. Okay. For example, uh, let me see if this works here or not. So this one, sorry, not the print, because in print window we haven't mentioned the D name, right? So it will throw an error for us. So always run this one. Okay. So I have run it. So I have stored the macro in one, equal to work underscore pre. Okay, let's this one. I'll just try signing out. Yeah, again I came to this place. For example, I'll run this directly. So I'll be getting an error, right? Okay. I'll try to run with the help of this option SAS autos. I'll just directly run this. Okay. I'm auto source. The apparent location function not resolved. I stored and worked on 1 second now. Hmm. Yeah. Yes, sir. My bad. Okay. I got it. You got it, ma'am? So, we haven't run this particular part, right, ma'am? So, we have signed out. I just came in. For example, if you take an example, if I save this one, sorry, if I save this one, okay. So I ran the code. This particular D name, sorry, print will be saved in this one. Okay, so I'll just again log out for you. I'll launch it again. So I got it. Okay. Now, so you want to direct. So now, if you directly use this particular print macro to print something, just direct print it. So it okay. The option is already on. So normally, it won't work, right? Because you don't have because this print is not in the is not in the work library, right, ma'am?
Yes.
You got this point, right? Because for example, if you for example, if you run this macro in the same session and you haven't logged out, and you just call this macro here, it should run, right? Ideally,
Yes.
yeah. But we have logged out, and if you run this straight away, it won't run. Okay. So we get this apparent because it says the print is not available in the work library. I mean in the temporary library. So you have to use these two options such that it will fetch the data from the whatever libraries you have mentioned. Now we got it. Because so we have stored here SAS m stored. So m stored, this will call the compiled macros with the help of SAS autos. So SAS autos, will search in the particular libraries with the help of mstore. It will call the particular libraries, and and we get the data. I mean, we get the macro name. So once you call the macro name, we get the once you pass the data in the macro name, you get the data here in the results window or the output window, whichever the code is in the particular print macro. Clear, ma'am? So that is the help of SAS autos. SAS auto is something that to call the particular macro. mstore, SAS mstore something that SAS mstore something that to store where to store the macro, and mstore is something that to just call the compiled macro.
And, what is M autosys?
So m auto is something that just to see. I mean, the default option is m auto source, which means do we have a autocall feature or not? Because sometimes what happens is, ma'am, we use print here. Okay. For example, if you don't know that this print already exists in the particular in a particular uh, library, okay, you accidentally called this no option no option no options m stores as autos equal to library, okay, and you think that a print is not available, and you have passed the print which you have created right now. For example, uh, in the print, if you have data ds set SAS help dot pass file values will support. I'm not storing this one. Okay. So what you will do is, if you run only this print, so you'll be getting the class data set, right, ma'am? And if you run with the help of this print, a stored print, we must have some dot pass. Did you run this whole, ma'am, with the help of options? I guess I saved it again. Problem. Second, previously No, did I run this until the options? Just the macro. Okay, I guess I know I ran it with the options. Okay, one second. Replicate another one. Print the name. Print data equal to ampersand rename dot one. Okay, this is the thing I'm sorry. Work library. On the cars. Data. Now, for example, so we use this print here, different data, DS set, SAS, that's done. Okay, and until this particular, I use this one, to stop the article feature, and now I use just this print statement. Yeah, this is what now. Okay, so here, what's happening, ma'am? So I have stopped this article feature. Okay, so now what happens is it will print the currently generated macro name print. You got it, ma'am? The difference between that and this one. So sometimes what happens is, so you want to use the currently generated print, and you accidentally invoke a macro in the SAS autos. Okay, so that will generate the already stored print, macro print. Got it, ma'am? Or still confused? So, in order to avoid that one, we simply use this particular, this options, no auto, no M auto source, such that it will just stop calling the, it will just stop calling the auto call feature. So, no, this is the auto call feature, ma'am. That's auto is the auto call feature. So, such that it won't call the data, no, it won't call the macro based on this work library, the print macro, but instead it will print the currently generated, the currently created print macro. You got the difference, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Um, and again, if you want to enable this one, just just need to just run this option same autofill. But by default, autofill feature is on, ma'am. It is on. Okay. Clear in this, both of you, ma'am.
Mm.
Priyanka, ma'am, clear in this, or any questions?
Yeah, it is little bit confusing for me, Raju. I like. So, are you creating this work.pre library
No,
with
no.
that, or
We we
you
already
already created that?
we already have the library, right? That's what I showed you, right?
Okay.
We already have the libraries. You can create your own library and then pass it here.
Okay.
Okay.
And
This
what is
simple,
this SR
no,
SRT
simply,
score?
okay. Sorry, which one, ma'am?
Hello.
Yeah, which one, ma'am?
Yeah, SRT something is there underscore somewhere.
S SRT.
Start. I don't know.
Where is it now? Anyway,
Yes, SAS underscore start. What is this?
oh, this is the library, ma'am. This is the other library. Here.
Okay.
I think, ma'am, just a simple concept, ma'am. So just remember that options M store as M store will help you to will help you to store a particular macro permanently in the particular library. Okay, got it, ma'am?
Yeah. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
that one.
So
Okay. Yeah.
in order to call the particular library, you have to use SAS options, SAS autos. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. With the help of mstore. So once you use SAS autos, it will give you the particular macro present in the particular library stored. Stored in the particular library. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So without SAS autos, we cannot call a particular
No, ma'am. No.
macros.
Yeah.
Macro.
So it's simple that SAS autos will just simple that SAS autos will just tell you says that this particular macro is present in the this particular library.
Mm.
That's it. And now I just wanted to show something. No, I'll just show you this. Okay, we call them. Yeah. So for example, ma'am, with this example, I guess if I can tell you at the last, we call them. V macros. Yeah. Yeah, I just asked you to know this particular thing, ma'am. So if you see here, we have V macro and we have all these V's. So we have V format here. Okay. We have V function. So my point is v macro. Okay. So we have this v macro here and the v column here. Okay. So this particular v column, it will be in the SAS help library. Okay. V column. So this particular v column, yeah. So this will have whatever the file which you have which you have generated in a particular library as stored in the form of lib name, mem type. Okay, what are the data set which you have stored in terms of in terms of the library. Okay. You have many. Okay. See here. So it can be it can be a library which you have created. It can be of the the work library or normal the other libraries which which SAS already gave. You can use these libraries to generate the data. So you have in this lib name, mem type, name, type, length, number of so, okay. This is number of observations. Okay, number of observations, number of columns, label, format, and format. Yeah. So also these all data, ma'am. So all data you have it in a particular library. In this in this V column. Okay. So my point is now try exploring this. If you see here, this is in terms of view. Okay. See here, the properties. It's a view, table.view. Okay. So my point is try exploring this, ma'am. So for example, if anyone tells you to just um, see how many data sets are there in a particular library. So this is the best option, V column. Okay. Right, ma'am? Because there'll be occasions where you want to where you want to just see the data. Okay. Uh, I mean, just if you want to know the data sets, what are what are the data sets present in a particular library. You can just instead of going through all the data sets, just by looking into it, it's it will be difficult work. So you can directly print out with the help of sasab.v column. Okay, by mentioning lib name equal to so and so lib name. Now you get the data. No, you get the data, whatever the data present in the particular library. Okay, just try, ma'am, just try exploring this one. Right, ma'am? And this one be member. Uh, you see here, we have created mem names as macro catalog mem type, maybe an engine or text. So all these I mean, we have V column, V format, V function, V macro. So V macros is something that it will have all the macros and all the all the global and the automatic macro variables. Okay, now you can directly extract from this one. So you can directly extract what are the macros present in the particular in this particular what are the automatic macro variables, and what are the global macro variables this way. So sometimes, I'm not sure, sometimes, they may ask you to just fetch out, okay, to just, fetch out, how do you calculate the, you know, how do you calculate the number, so the space occupied by a data set in a particular library, or, or what is the, what is the library space, okay, what is the available space in the library, right, ma'am? So all these questions can be answered with the help of V member. Okay, just try exploring this one, ma'am. Just try exploring V member with help of Chat GPT or Google. Just just uh just go through it. V macro and V member, these both. Let me know if any questions, ma'am. So if you want to know what are the formats, in all the formats will be covered here. The format name in this way. So whatever you write, so it will be stored here in terms of formats, or with macros in terms of uh, data sets. So it will be in the SAS data library. Sorry, SAS help library. Right, ma'am? Just try exploring these features, ma'am. Okay. The next one is so there's a simple example. So there's an example which I've created for you. Uh, just for the sake of simple thing. Okay. So this percentage length sub str q sub str would will be a new thing for you as str. Okay. So the whole point here is uh, I just want to compress this particular data A. Okay. For example, you see here, okay, from this particular piece of code, and if I'm this ampersand amps ampersand x input statement, you see here I have a gap from these three stars. So this one got printed with the leading blanks, right, ma'am? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used my own function. So there's a function which I have created. Okay. So in terms of functions, you can create your own functions, or can be of normal functions. Can be of normal you know predefined functions. So what you will do in terms of ma'am, so what you will do if you want to remove the leading blanks for some for a for no for some variable, ma'am. So what you will do if you want to remove the leading blanks of a particular variable, I mean the data. Can you hear me? Hello? Am I audible? Hello? Hello?
Hello, Ajit.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, no. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you get my question, ma'am?
They were talking about the leading
Yeah.
blanks.
Yes. Yeah. So what is the function where with the help of which you can remove the leading blanks? We have 1 minute left, ma'am. Okay. We can
Hello,
direct.
Rajiv. Can
Yes,
you
ma'am.
hear me?
Yeah. 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 Hello.
Yeah, I got disconnected, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. So what is the, ma'am? What is the function name by which you can remove the leading blanks?
Okay.
Yes, Priyanka, ma'am, I'm disconnected.
So she's some internet issue.
Sorry, ma'am.
Maybe she has some internet issues to talk about.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Shall we wait for her, or just shall we go on with the next topic, ma'am?
Or we can just text her and see. I don't know.
Sorry, ma'am.
Do you want me to text her?
Yeah, yeah. If she joined, then that's okay. Ma'am, I know. Shall I explain this code, or is it fine if I leave this? Did you get
You
it?
wish, Rajiv. If you want to continue, I don't have a problem.
Sorry.
If you want to continue, I don't have a problem. I'm just trying to call her, but I don't think
Okay, okay.
you can continue.
Yeah. So, man, this is not in the handout, ma'am. Okay. I'll just explain you this code in a simple way. Okay. So normally, what we are doing is, we are creating a simple macro. Okay. So that macro, we are naming it as a trim function macro. Okay. So normally, so we have mentioned this as a percentage do I equal to length of value. So the value, since value is being passed in the trim function. So value is something that the value it takes from. So this is the value it is taking. Okay. So this is the back. So this is the macro variable it is taking. Right, ma'am? So here the value is x. So I mean here the value is so here the value is ampersand x. So ampersand x gets resolved to 1. So length of 1 to length of 1 so percentage length of 1 to 1. So I know length of 1 is 1. So 1 to 1 by minus 1. So we have only one. So we have only one iteration left, right, ma'am? So we have only one iteration to be performed. Okay, if q sub str. So both this q sub str and the sub str both are same, ma'am. Now instead of using this percentage function, we can directly use this sub str, personal sub str. So by our previous topics, what we have learned is in order to use function in the macros, we have to use personal sysfunc, right? Right, ma'am?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Correct.
But we have just, oh no, we have only few functions where we can use directly with the help of percentage function. Okay, only namingly few. Okay, so in that one is substr. So the difference between Q substr and normal substr is this Q substr, it will help us to mask any special characters if it is there in a particular value. For example, if you have if you have any any special characters in this particular so as being a simple A, so it doesn't have any any special characters. If it has any special characters, for example at the rate symbols or any or anything, so this will help us, so this will help, so this Q substr will help to mask the particular data. Okay, the next one. Yeah, no, I know Ethernet doesn't have, ma'am. So, no, so what comes is ampersand, percentage symbol, quotation marks, brackets, plus, minus, asterisk. Okay, all these, ma'am. Okay, so all this will be masked. Blanks, if you have any blanks in the particular data, so no, that will be masked. Okay, so what means so it is taking q substr of value ampersand I. So ampersand I is nothing but one, right, ma'am? One. So one comma. So what is A? One comma one. It is A, right? Right, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it is A. Okay. So it is A one comma one. So eventually it will give you A, right? So this is the not equal to symbol. So if you mention this cap symbol, there's something that, so it's a not equal to symbol. So it is not equal to str. So str is something that it's called str is something that it will help you to mask the uh, percentage symbols or quotation symbols. If you have any kind of data with the help of percentages, so if you use percentage, right, so the SAS will think it's a macro. Okay, in order to mask that, okay, in order to show that this percentage is not is not necessary here, if you use percentage string, but no, sorry, no, percentage str, it will directly mask the particular value. So we are just masking percentage str equal to null. Okay, then go to trimmed. So here go to is something that percentage go to is something that, okay, it will help you. So go to always help you to um, okay, jump from one value to other. Okay, for example, you have a data. Okay, you have a data and you want to for example, you have this one. See, let's show you this one. Where is the example, ma'am? Yeah, here. Okay. For example, so we have class data, right? So I just want to avoid printing. Okay, no, I just want to avoid printing. Okay, I just want to avoid printing data of James. Okay, so if you want to avoid printing the data of James, in that case, this goto will help you. Okay, so this goto will help you in a way that, so you can directly mention then go to some condition name trimmed. So here the condition is trimmed. So here the what is the condition? If ampersand I. So if ampersand I is nothing but one. If one is greater than zero, then substr of a comma one comma one. Then give me a one comma one. It is a. So this is the condition, ma'am. So this particular goto will always help you to create a new condition. Just like else, we have else, right, ma'am? So else, will give you a condition where if not that, this will be the other condition. The same way, this almost the same way, this goto works, but goto will also, this can also help you to remove a particular condition, or or just ignore a particular condition. Got this step, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Or still unclear?
Got it, Raji. I'll just go over it one more time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this will eventually give you this trimmed value. Okay. Yeah. Just let me know, if if you have any questions, ma'am, on this. Okay. The next one is nested macro. So nested macro is something that where you create a macro in a macro. No, where you call a macro inside another macro. Okay. For example, you have created this print data. Okay. So I want to use print data, in another macro, such that I'm using this proc sort. So I'm sorting a data with the help of class out equal to ds by 6. I just want to see what will be the data part. Data, instead of writing proc print, I'm just using a other macro inside a new macro. So that is called nested macros. You can use how many macros you want. You can use, you can just directly use proc print, and you want to use some kind of another proc, so proc means or proc, anything. So this simple, no, this simple nested macros.
Okay, Raji.
Okay, so any question here?
So we're creating a macro, and within that macro, we are calling another macro that is already created.
We are not calling this macro here. No, we're just ending it until main. No, we are creating one macro. We are calling it here. You can test with the help of some other. You can test you can test this code with the help of some other data.
Rajiv, your voice is too low. Can you speak up, please?
Sorry. You can test it, with the help of some other macro. I mean, you can test this macro with the help of some other data. Okay, because this being a simple macro, I directly use it here. So this is simple
Okay.
example of nested macro. Okay. You can use n number of macros. You can create n number of data parts. Now you can create a number of variables inside a macro. And there is there is no restriction to it. So whenever we write macro block or macro call inside another macro block, then these macro blocks are called nested macros. Okay. For example, you can even write macro and again percentage macro. For example, I write here. You can write in this way also. No, you can call the print here itself. Got it, ma'am?
Yes, Rajiv.
Yeah. I mean, in this way, no, you can try n number of combinations, ma'am. Okay, it's not, it's not confined to one thing. No, you can try, n number of combinations in this way. So, but no, in real time, once you go into a company, you see macro codes, lengthy macro codes. I mean, 1,000 lines, 2,000 lines, in that way. but the essence is simple. It will start with the macro, no, percentage macro, and it should end with percentage men. Okay, and between that, all the other parts of the code will appear. When you call the macro, it should end with, it should start with percentage, the macro name, whatever the parameters which you have passed in the macro name, it should be there in the, no, it should be there while calling the macro name. Okay, that is the essence, ma'am. In between, you can have n number of data. I mean, sorry, n number of codes. It can be a data step, proc SQL, anything. N number of codes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to see an example, just Google it, ma'am. No, you'll have lots of examples on this nested macros. Yeah. Clear, ma'am. Until this one, any questions in terms of do loops, SAS mstored, SAS autocall macros, or yeah, and do loops. So anything else, ma'am? Any questions in terms of that? So ma'am, you know how to just resolve this double ampersand, right?
Yeah. The
So
double ampersand. I mean, why do we have to use it? Like, if we use a simple ampersand, it is reading after that only class name, and
hmm,
because there is only class name and there is no extra ampersand in front of it, it's not resolving into that particular macro variable.
okay, yeah. So the point is here. The main point is here. Okay, double ampersand. Okay. No, let me just give an example. A simple example here. Percentage let a equal to b. Percentage let b equal to c. Percentage let c equal to d. Percentage let d equal to e. Okay. For example, I just want the data for. So what is the data for ampersand a? What is the a, ma'am? It will be b, right? The simple b, right, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what I want is, I want the no, I just only call a, but I want the data as c. This can be an interview question, ma'am. Okay. I want to call a, but I want the data to be c. Answer to be c. At that time, okay, at that time, we get this no, we can use this double ampersand, triple ampersand, or 4, 5, n number of ampersands. But the no, but the no, but the no, but the condition is only one thing. No, but the rule is simple. If I use double ampersand here, double ampersand a dot. So normally double ampersand will resolve to 1 ampersand. I mean, no, 1 ampersand. So again, 1 ampersand of a is b.
B. Yeah.
It's again b. Okay. And how about triple ampersand? No, just see this.
Yeah.
It has come to c, right, ma'am?
Yeah.
So how did it get it? So the the solution is simple here. So always if you have multiple ampersands, so it will resolve from left to right. Okay, by
Yeah.
left to right. So it will resolve two ampersands at once. Okay, the first two ampersands will give you. Okay, the first two ampersands will give you ampersand,
1 ampersand.
1 ampersand. Okay, the next one. So what remained is ampersand a dot. So what is
Yeah.
ampersand a dot is b.
B.
B,
Yeah.
right, ma'am? And again,
Yeah.
so what is ampersand B? It is
C.
C. Yeah. In that way, can be n number of ampersands. It will resolve from left to right, each 2 ampersand. No, it will go by 2 ampersands. Now you can just mention 1, 2, 3, 4. What is A dot? Just break it down to single ampersand, again single ampersand, A dot. Okay. Then again, break it down to sing, uh, single ampersand. What is single
B.
amp? So single ampersand, again a single ampersand, A dot. If we run this one, we still end up getting B, right, ma'am? Because what happens is it will double ampersand A and single ampersand A dot. It will be B, right? I mean, no, as you mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the way, this is the way something, this kind of multiple ampersands we normally use in the do loops, ma'am. Okay. Where we want to, so in this way, no, you want, so first, what you want, first you want to resolve this I, right? And after that, you want to resolve this class name. Okay. So for example, if you just only mention this one, single, this normal, sorry, I have tried it here. We'll see what happens here. We're printing this somewhere. Okay, here. See here, syntax error. Experiment on the following. Because, why is it, ma'am? Any idea?
No, Rajya.
Okay. So thing is, what we have mentioned is, one second. What we have mentioned is percentage put ampersand class 1, right? So you got it as Alfred, right, ma'am? But what we have mentioned is we have mentioned ampersand to the entire thing, entire class 1, class name 1, right? So we haven't mentioned just class name and again ampersand to it, right, ma'am? We have mentioned class name 1, we have mentioned ampersand to entire class name 1. But what we need, we want to iterate this one. So no, we want to iterate such that every time we iterate it, we'll have a flow of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Right, ma'am?
Right.
Yeah. So only for that, if you see here, I just run this once again. We got the same issue. Syntax error. Because what's happening is uh, class name 1. Okay. So it is resolving. So it is, resolving in this way. It is considering ampersand class ampersand I dot. Okay. So we don't have anything called ampersand I dot, right? So we only have ampersand class 1, right, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah. So we only have ampersand class 1, but here it is ampersand class ampersand I dot. So that is the reason it cannot resolve. So for that we are mentioning double ampersand I dot. So in the first step, double ampersand, will resolve in single ampersand, which will give you single ampersand class ampersand I dot. So what is, so it, so this will, so for example, this one, so this double ampersand will resolve to single ampersand. Okay. And this class name will remain the same. And here, this single ampersand will resolve to 1. So this is what we require, right, ma'am? This is what we require.
Yes.
Yeah. So previously what happened is, it is simply ampersand class ampersand. So no, it's simply ampersand class 1 dot in one step. So which it couldn't, which it couldn't, it couldn't resolve at the first step, right, ma'am?
Okay.
Yeah. So the,
Yeah.
yeah, that is the issue. Run this one. We get all the data. This is a log here. Okay. Because what's happening is at the first go, you see here at the at the first go, if you keep only the single ampersand at the first go, it will treat single ampersand I dot. That is not the case, right? Right, ma'am?
Yes, Raja.
Our case is single ampersand class one. That's it. Single ampersand class one dot. So then it resolve to the name of the particular data point. So that is the difference between
Okay.
double ampersand and single ampersand. So double ampersand is very helpful, ma'am. Whenever you automate something, when you want to iterate upon something, we use double ampersand.
It's like trailing.
Yeah, it's like
So
trailing
step
number.
back.
Yeah, it's like trailing the number. Yeah, trailing.
Okay.
Because so every time just remember that this name should match with the name which you have created. Okay. So normally, if you mention only single ampersand, it will directly treat as okay. So no SAS is calling single ampersand. Okay. So what is class ampersand I dot? There is there is nothing mentioned above with the class I dot, right? That's no. So that's the reason we use double ampersand. So here in the first go, this will resolve as to single ampersand. The same way, this will resolve to one, and in the second go, it will resolve to ampersand class one dot. So what is ampersand class one dot is Alfred. In that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the use of multiple ampersands. How to use multiple ampersands? Handling multiple ampersands. Clear, ma'am, on this?
Yes, Raja.
Yeah. Ma'am, I'm not sure if I can no, go through do until do while. If you have any time, just go through do until and do while statements, ma'am.
Okay, Raja.
Yeah. Yeah. And go to also percentage go to also. I mean, we have many more, but we just can't go through everything, right? So yeah, that's the reason I just told
Okay.
you. Yeah. Yeah. So, ma'am, till now, we have learned about we went through uh, macro variables, creating macro variables, you know, how to save these macro names, how to recall these macro names. Okay. How to create nested macros, all these. And now, we're gonna see how to debug these macros such that we may not face any errors while writing some huge macro codes. Okay, such that I mean debugging in the sense whenever you write a macro, you have to check that each and every step is in relation with the macro code. Okay. For example, if the data step which you provide in between the macro and the main statement, okay, is in relation with the macro and the main statement. Does the no no does the macro variables are in a correct order? Okay, are the parameters which you have placed in the macro statement are are being resolved in a correct way, or is the data step code which you have written in the macro, is it in a is it in a correct format or not in a correct standard? Is it working fine? So all these we need to check all these and make it bug free. Okay. So in order to make it bug free, we need to just start debugging each and every code with the help of few options. Okay. So notedly, we have around five options: M error, S error, M logic, M print, symbol gen. Okay. Ma'am, please remember these five. You may get an interview question from this. Okay. M error, S error, M logic, M print, symbol gen. The name itself has an answer. Okay. Each and every each and every name has itself an answer for what kind of debugging the particular option performs. Okay. So here it's a standard. So here there's a procedure, a simple procedure where you can follow while debugging. Okay. First one is write a standard program without bugs. Okay. Always, first of all, so always write a data step program. I mean, or a proc step program, which you intend to automate it or which you intend to provide a macro for it. Okay. And then after writing it, after checking it, it's in a good condition, then add your personal macro and personal men statements for the standard SAS program. Okay. And then add macro logic one feature at a time. For example, if you have a if you have a bunch of features to be added to a particular data step or a proc step code, just always be sure that you go one by one instead of just floating, instead of just floating each and every macro variable or or the macro name at once in the entire code. Okay. Sometimes that will get messed up, and at the end you will end up at the end you'll be getting a error. Okay. Instead of that, just go one by one. Just add the macro logic one by one, and then add your macro variables one at a time, and so on until your macro is complete and bug free. Okay. So your macro variables which you add in terms of parameters or some other way in the code, even that to add that one by one. Okay. Add one, check the logic. If it is bug free, add a second one. In that way, go one by one. Okay. So normally this is the standard procedure where you see, where you can have a bug free macro code. Okay. For example, you already have a macro code where you want to check that how the macro code is running. Okay. You want to debug that code. So you can just go with these options: merror, serror, mlogic, mprint, symbol gen. Okay. The first thing is merror. So simple is options. The syntax is simple. Options mirror. That's it. This is a global option. You just have to mention options mirror. Okay. So when this option is on, SAS will issue a warning if you invoke a macro that cannot find. Okay. If you invoke a macro that cannot find. For example, you created a macro name. For example, in this way, mac11, and you invoke a macro name with mac1. Okay. Here it is mac11. Here it is mac1. But you pass the parameters as is. As this is not the as mac1 hasn't been created, so the with the help of this option, you will be getting a warning. Let's see. Run this one by one. There are more positional parameters found than defined. Is it ds1 SAS help dot class str of x equal to f? So ideally, this should be the apparent, invocation of mac1 not resolved. Uh, so let's try with one, mac1. And sometimes the warning or the error can be misleading, but still, I mean, for this mean to say that. So this mean to say that, so more person parameters found than defined. Okay. So here it is stating that Mac one isn't so here SAS is thinking that Mac one has been created with the null values and you have passed with some parameters. Okay, that is not the correct way. So here the SAS thinks in this way that Mac one has already been created with null values and you have passed more than required parameters. Okay, so that's the error we are getting in the SAS Studio. Okay. Even if I use
Exactly. One question.
yes, ma'am.
So this M error, this has to be turned on,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
by default it's not on.
No, no, ma'am. So this has to be turned on. Options M error.
And is Mac one already created like before in our
No,
previous sessions because of
no,
which it's giving that error? No.
no. The first time. I mean, I don't see we have any what stored macros in first time. Um, yeah, not sure why is it getting in this way, but normally. So in this way, the warning should be in this way. Here is the warning. So warning apparent invocation of macro not resolved in this way. So this will be a warning. This should be the warning in the log, but I don't see that one. Okay. So let's go to the next option. It's the same thing. If you don't want this M error, then you can just directly switch off it by the help of options. No M error. Okay. Let's try this one. If this more person parameters found than defined. Just a second, ma'am. We'll just change this particular thing to some other to earlier Mac. Oh, my bad. Mac one is already there, right? Maybe in the same one. Okay. So options apparent in invocation of macro one to not resolved. This will be the case when you create a new macro in that way. Okay. So if you just no, do on that, you can directly mention options no M error. So the warning won't be there, only the error message. Okay. If you observe carefully, with the error message, we can say that okay, our macro name isn't working. But with sorry, with the warning message, you can just clearly say that okay, our macro is not working because it has a different name. But in terms of error, if you see here, statement is not valid or not used in proper order. So with the use of this, we just can't directly say what error is it, right? And unless and until we are more clear about a macro name which we are creating, then we can find the issue. But with this statement, we cannot say that what kind of issue is it, right, ma'am? Yeah. So that's the reason we use these options M error or M error. So if you see here, with the help, the name itself has its has the answer stating that with the help of this m error. So whenever you want to invoke a macro which you haven't created, so that will throw a warning to you. Okay. The SAS will issue a warning if you invoke a macro that SAS cannot find. Okay. Next one, S error.
Hello, Rajiv.
Yes, ma'am.
Creating null values means like that I did not understand.
Yeah, it's okay, ma'am. Leave it. I mean, I guess so. We have already created a Mac one previously, I guess. So it might, it might have a
Its own other value, you are saying?
no, some lesser parameters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Next one. Okay. Yeah. This one. S error. So when this option is on, SAS will issue a warning if you invoke a macro variable here. Okay. So the previous one is M error is a macro name. Okay. S error is a macro variable that SAS cannot find. Let's see. Okay. So here, we are using this, these options for these statements called percentage str and percentage nrstr. Okay. So, these are not some kind of functions. Okay. These are just, they are used to mask specific quotations. Okay. In that way. Some specific, um, what do you call it? Special characters. Okay. Let me show you those special characters. What kind of special characters? Yeah. Yeah. So these macro coding functions mask the following special characters and mnemonics. Blind is what do you call it? Is we call it as semicolon, hyphen, not hyphen, some other cap, tilde, comma, single quotation, double quotation, parenthesis, plus, minus, all these, man. All this it will mask. Okay. It will just, so thing is, mark, okay. And in addition to that, NRSTR mask, it will mask ampersand and percentage symbol. Okay. So masking in the sense, okay, and I'll just remove this one and I'll show you. For example, okay, for example, this is the condition here. Okay. So this is a where condition which you have to pass in the COND environment, right? Let's see this. D1, D2 condition. Then Mac 1 month. Here, Mac 1 month. See here, the keyword parameter sex was not defined with the macro. So what is mentioning? The keyword parameter was not defined with the macro. So it is considering sex as a keyword parameter. Go ahead, ma'am. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sorry?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you remember keyword parameters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes what happens is, macros has a, has a, some, has some kind of a different, what do you call it, features that it will consider some kind of quotation marks, okay, some kind of percentages, some kind of ampersand, some kind of parentheses as as its own syntaxes, okay, which will eventually which will each way we take it, we consider that to be an other way, no, that to be a condition. Here we consider that to be a condition, sex equal def to be a condition, but it is considering it to be a keyword parameter, which which we don't want that. Okay, in order to avoid the keyword parameter, we provide ampersand str to mask this particular value, okay, such that it will make this as a text, just simple text, okay, which can be passed directly into the where condition, okay. It will mask this equal to symbol and this quotation marks, marks, such that this particular sex equal to f cannot be treated as a keyword parameter, right, ma'am? Got it?
How
Yes.
is that read then?
Sorry, ma'am.
How will that be read then?
As
Like
sim
without the equal to.
no, mask in the sense, okay, you mean to say mask in the sense, it will remove. No, ma'am, it won't remove. So mask in the sense, um, so normally, so if I remove this percentage str, so macro thinks that it is a keyword parameter, right, ma'am? But if I present this percentage str, okay, it will make the macro think that this is not a keyword parameter, but this is simple condition.
Okay.
Yeah, in that way. Got it, ma'am? So it will do the masking in that way, such that the macro think that okay, this is just a normal text. It is not a keyword parameter. Okay. So because in where condition, whenever you gonna apply, whenever you apply a condition in the where statement, we just directly do sex equal to quotations f, quotations the character variable, right? I mean the character name, right? Okay. So that type of condition in macro, it'll be considered as a keyword parameter. Okay, in order to avoid that, we use personal STA such that it will tell macro processor. No, it'll tell the macro processor that this is not a keyword parameter, but but it's a simple text. That's it. Ma'am, just remember that it will convert this particular keyword parameter to a simple text. So macro considers simple text to be its parameters. Okay. Okay. So now what happened? Let's see. Okay, line and column cannot be determined. Syntax error. Why syntax error? And this NRSTR is simple an advanced version of STR, where NRSTR will just mask percentage and ampersand symbols. Okay, I'll just show you that one. Yeah. So here we have no we have a macro variable such that I got ABC percentage symbol. Okay, but I want I want the ABC to be printed as is. Okay, I want the var1 to be printed as is. But what happens? Let's see what happens if I run this one. Okay. Okay. Mm. You see here, we got ABC, um, ABC percentage and DEF. Okay, 1 second. Albahana is stable. And if I mention percentage STR, sorry, NRSTR. Just a moment, ma'am. I got an open code. 1 second.
Rajiv, one question.
Yes, ma'am.
So right now you run that and you got something in the log, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
What is that error? This big error will always come.
Okay, so it's an it's an open code, ma'am. So what happens is whenever you create a macro, okay, and you forgot some kind of a semicolons or in semicolons in that way, so you'll face a open code macro. So once you get an open code macro, even you run a correct macro, it won't get it won't get the answer. Okay, the answer won't be in the log or the output window. Okay,
Okay,
so
because sometimes the program is correct, but I'm getting that error continuously
yeah, so that's
while
because
running.
so in any of the step you might have run a ran a macro with an open code. So where where you forgot to mention semicolon, no, or no, or you yeah in that way. Some other syntaxes you forgot to mention. No, which which are against the macro processor. At that time you'll face a open code. And during open code, whatever correct macro you run, the answer no the answer won't be the answer won't be reflecting correctly in the log or the results or the output window. At that time, the only option is you have to log out and log in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, but I did not understand what actually it is. So,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
uh, thank you.
Yeah, we're getting on this. We'll leave it and let's see. This macro one. Let's try this one. It's going into an open code one. Second. Okay. So let's go to another example. This one. Yeah. This one. If you see this here, ma'am, no, just no, this example here. Just let's go with this one. So here, what's happening is, no, Yeah. If you see here, normally if you don't use this particular str, let's see, ma'am. So I just want print init macro variable. Sorry, macro name. Sorry, macro variable should have proc print run. So that I can I can directly use print init in any kind of a macro variable. In any kind of a code or something. Okay. Let's print it. And let's run this one. We see here, I got statement is not valid or not used in proper order. At what point? At this point. Okay. So without the without the use of an str, so what it is thinking that this particular first semicolon, it is considering it to be a stop of it to be a stop of the particular um, statement. Okay. So it stops here, and and the rest and the rest it is it couldn't read. So that's the reason no we are getting that we are getting this error. Okay, if you see here, we got proc print. That's it. Go ahead, ma'am. If I just resolve this macro, I'm getting proc print with an open parenthesis. But what we want the entire to be in the log, right, ma'am? You
Yeah.
got my point, right? Because this particular let statement, what it is thinking that it is considering this particular first semicolon as the end of the macro processing. Okay. So in order to mask it, okay, in order to treat it the entire in order to treat this particular um this semicolon as the as the end semicolon, we have to consider str or nrstr, whichever you feel it. Now let's see. Now we got it, right, ma'am? Proc print run. Go ahead, ma'am. It will mask these values. And whenever we have an, whenever we have an matched parenthesis means open and close parenthesis, it will remove that. Okay. Go ahead, ma'am. So that is use of, so though, that is the use of str. And here, let me show you a simple example for nrstr. Yeah. We'll take this one. Okay. Here, str, I didn't do it. I have quotation mark. So I have single quotation mark, which means that it is not an, it is an unmatched quotation mark. We have a, because unmatched, so why, so why I say unmatched quotation mark, because it have only one quotation mark. It doesn't have a closing quotation mark, right, ma'am? So that's the reason I say it as a unmatched quotation mark and exclamation mark here. Okay. So this, why, so what is the help of this? No personal symbol. I'll tell you, ma'am. Okay. I got this. I didn't do it. Okay. If I don't do this one, you see here what's happening. If I don't use this percentage symbol as this being a unmatched quotation mark, it'll just turn all the other parts of the code to be in this color. Okay. So which is not the case. If I run this one, I get some undesired results, because nrstr can't mask it, because it's an unmatched quotation mark, single quotation mark. Okay. Because as it is searching for the next quotation mark, it'll treat the entire code from here to all the parts of the code as its as its color, as the same color. So at that time we won't be getting an we won't be getting a desired answer. No, it can't print. So we'll be getting some kind of an issues in the log. Okay. In order to remove that, or in order to help that issue, we'll mention percent symbol. Okay. So once you run this, it will mask the percentage. So that's the reason I just once you make an error in the macro, we have to always close and open the session. We run this one, then we get a correct answer. I didn't do it. Okay. So I mentioned a note here. Yeah. So I mentioned note in this particular macro .SAS code. Which I'll share it with you, ma'am, because not all things are there in the handout. Okay. Yeah. So if an unmatched single or double quotation marks or an open parenthesis or close parenthesis is used with str or nrstr, so these characters must be preceded by a percent sign. Okay. That is syntax, ma'am. So which you have to follow it in terms of str and nrstr. Whenever you see an unmatched single, double, or open or close parenthesis, you have to use a percentage symbol before that, or you have to precede a percentage symbol of a particular unmatched single, double, or open or close parenthesis. Clear, ma'am, on this?
Yeah.
Any questions, ma'am?
No, right.
Okay. Now we'll just go with another example. So as I said, NRSTR has an extra feature of masking ampersand and percentage, right? We'll see this. So here what I want is, I don't want to resolve this, but instead I just want this to be read as is without resolving this particular ampersand my var. Okay. So local my var put let my var equal to abc and put nrstr, the string my var appears in log output instead, okay, instead of the variable value. So what is the variable value of ampersand my var is abc, right, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's run this one. So I got the string my var appears in log output instead of the macro variable. I mean, instead of the yeah. So I just so in this example, it is just stating that I want only the ampersand my var instead of this getting resolved. Okay. For example, if I don't use this, the string abc appears in log output instead of the variable value. Okay. It couldn't mask this particular, so it couldn't remove this open and close parenthesis, and we got a resolved macro variable. Okay. So that is the help of ampersand nrstr. Sorry, percentage nrstr. Which masks the ampersand or the percentage symbols. Okay.
Yeah.
Clear, ma'am? Oh, yeah. And the last thing which I'm going to show you, the help of NRST we can create in this way. For example, I'm creating a keyword macro, sorry, keyword macro variable. Okay. So D equal to NRSTR Mary ampersand Stacy ampersand Joanne limited dot. Okay. So I want the footnote to be designed by ampersand D. Okay. So ampersand D should get resolved to Mary and Stacy and Joanne limited. Okay. Let's see. Come to this. Same one. Oh, sorry.
Put,
No, I mean, they should automatically get printed. Credits.
Do we need to get the ampersand D dot or no?
1 second, ma'am. I'm getting
Ampersand D dot, Raju, there, no?
yeah, that's okay, ma'am. Yes, if it doesn't, if it doesn't, there it will be the same thing. Okay, it will be the same. That's the moment. Just a moment, ma'am. Yeah, yeah. So once I run this particular macro, so we got it. No, we got in the log such that designed by Mary Stacy Joanne Limited, right? But ideally, if I use footnote here, right? Instead of this, instead of, so this should be, this should be, printed in the as a footnote. But I'm not getting it. Results. Actually, let me see. No, actually, that should be in the results window, but it's not getting printed. That's okay. Let's try this one. Put, because our main intention is to print this particular parameter. Mary, Stacy, and Joanne. Okay, designed by Mary and Stacy and Joanne Limited. Okay, so this masking this particular ampersand such that it is telling some macroprocessor that okay, microprocessor, this is just this is just a simple text, not a not a ampersand symbol, right, ma'am? For example, if I remove this one, just see, yeah, see here, apparent symbol reference Stacy not resolved, apparent symbol reference Joanne not resolved, because it is considering Stacy and Joanne to be a macro variables, right, ma'am? Got it, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So footnote
Yeah.
will okay. Yeah. So that is the
So
issue. Yeah.
we're trying to print it as a footnote
Yeah.
without mentioning footnote there. It won't understand, right? If you print it,
No, we have mentioned it right, ma'am.
yeah, but
Yeah. This footnote is in a blue color, which means that it is a statement. That's what you mean to say, right, ma'am?
yeah, but
Yeah.
when we are using put, it's coming out with
Yeah. Exactly. But no, thing is, yesterday it worked for me. Yesterday night I tried it. No, it worked for me, but not sure what happened this at this moment.
So here for footnote, we don't need to give the percentage,
Yeah, ma'am.
like
Yeah.
percentage
Y-
footnote.
Yes, ma'am. It's just a simple statement, right?
Okay.
Okay, if that is the case, so yeah, okay. Submitting the program, generate the following footnote statement in this way. It should be it should be in the it should be in the form of this one. Footnote designed.
Yeah, this also has a footnote.
Yeah. No, it should be in this way, ma'am. But no, ideally, we are not getting the footnote as this one. Yeah. Because even this example, he didn't use the output statement here. He's right to use footnote in this way. Yeah, not sure why it is there. I just see on it. I just look into it. Yeah. So this is the help of NRSTR and STR, ma'am. Okay. Let's go into our actual part. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So we are here, right? Yeah. SRO. So SRO means whenever we have a unrealistic macro variable that cannot be resolved, it throws a warning that apparent symbolic reference some macro variable not resolved. So let's see here. The map 1, D1, D2 condition, D1, D2 condition, then mend map 11, DS1 will be D1, DS2 will be from our class.
We are mentioning the D2 and DS2 today.
Yeah, that's okay. But why are we getting error? That's my point. Yeah. Mm, yeah. Uh, Change this particular Mac one. Just Mac one. That's right. One. Not sure why I've written this error, but still that's okay. Then column. So this error. So syntax error. Let me just try with for example. So let's try with no error, no no S error. The symbol is not recognized and will be ignored. File work.ts does not exist. Okay. So this is the case, ma'am. File. So it is giving me in this way. So it is considering DS2 as this cannot be resolved. It is directly considering DS2 does not exist.
It's D2, right?
Sorry,
Rajiv. It's
sorry, ma'am.
DS. It's D2.
Yeah, it's
T1
D2.
D2.
Yeah, it's D2. So this SRM means whenever whenever you invoke a macro variable that is not in the particular that hasn't been defined. Okay, it just
Okay.
throws a warning such that in this way. Apparent symbolic reference DS2 not resolved. But what we are getting is some kind of errors in this way. Line and column cannot be determined in this way. Got it, ma'am? Hello?
With
Any
S
Yeah.
error on, what will be the
with what, ma'am?
with S error?
With S error, no, we'll be getting in this way. Apparent symbolic reference DS2 not resolved. Okay. When S
Okay.
error is switched on, it'll just throw a warning such that whenever you try to invoke try to resolve a particular macro variable which is not been defined. Okay, here if you see here, we have used D2 here, but we are defining DS2. Okay.
Yeah.
Instead, it should be D2. So
Okay.
we should be getting a warning in this way. Apparent symbolic reference DS2 not resolved. But here we are getting some kind of an undesired errors where it is not pointing. So where it is pointing out at the DS2 data. So it is considering directly as DS2, stating that DS2 is not available, which means DS2 does not exist because DS2 cannot be resolved because we have only D2. Right, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah. And this is the why are we not looking at this? Leave it. Because we got that answer. Yeah. And the next one is uh, M logic. Okay. So with this option, SAS prints in the log, about the execution of macros and the macro variables. Okay. SAS prints in the log details about the execution of macros and the macro variables. Okay. So let's see, what kind of details it will print. Option M logic. This thing, it will print the logic of the execution. Okay. So what now? So the logic of execution. So beginning execution, parameter D1 has a value of DS1, D2 has a value of SAS_class, condition has a value of sex equal to F. Yeah. And here Mac1 ending execution. Okay. So it has printed the logics of macro and the macro variables. Previously, we don't used to get this one, right, ma'am? But we got this explanation. So this will help you, whenever you find some kind of a big, a large codes. So, this will help you to debug a particular macro such that where you can find how the each and every macro variable being resolved. Okay. So what is the value of each and every macro variable in the particular macro code? Right, ma'am? Got this one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one, mprint. That is mlogic. So this thing there, it prints the logic of the particular data. I mean, no particular data, particular data step or a proc step. Next, just a moment, ma'am. I'll just be back. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll just be back. Yeah, ma'am. So the next one is mprint. So normally, it prints the, in the log about the standard SAS code, how it got generated in the microprocessor. Okay. So it prints in your log the standard SAS code generated by microprocessor. Okay, let's see. So how it gets generated in the microprocessor. Options mprint. So this one. Yep. Okay, this is so it's a code which you generated, right, ma'am? So normally in your code it will be in this way with all the parameters, right? So it will print the actual code with with the result parameters in this way. So always make sure that you just use mprint and mlogic at once. Okay. So you just mentioned so you have to be cautious that you just switch on both mprint and mlogic at a time such that you get to know, what kind of variables have been resolved. Okay. Got it, ma'am? Any questions on this? Hello?
Yes.
Sorry, ma'am?
Yeah, no, Raju. So here you already run the M logic, that's why it is giving, or like.
Yeah, yeah. So mlogic is already switched on. Okay.
Okay.
And next one is symbol gen. Yeah. So this is something almost similar to mlogic where you get the values of macro variables. Okay, the symbol gen. Okay. 1 second. Let me stop this one. You see symbol gen here. Macro variable d1 resolves to so and so. And this one. Some characters in the above value which were subject to macro quoting have been uncoded for printing. Okay, in this way. Yeah, it is almost similar to mlogic, but it is in some in so this should come in hand with mprint and mlogic. Okay, mprint and mlogic. We use all three at once. You'll see a difference in it. Okay, because mlogic and mprint should be in hand, so it should be in hand operation. I mean, in hand to hand operation, and with the same thing with symbol gen. Okay, this is the mlogic code, this is mlogic print, and this symbol gen. This is the mprint. Again symbol gen. Again mprint. Again symbol gen. This way. Okay. I mean, always make sure that you use any of the three operations. So any of these three options. Okay. So whenever you use symbol gen, always make sure that mlogic is switched on. So switched off. Switch it off such that you get the mprint and symbol gen correctly. or else you still feel this still clumsy, then switch off this imprint. Right, ma'am? Clear, ma'am, on this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the use of error, ma'am?
Uh,
The
give the error, like if we have any error in the code, it will give the warning message.
Error in the code? Is it
macro
error?
that
Is it?
we
Sorry, ma'am?
Macro, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if you invoke a different macro which you haven't created, it will give an error. In use of S error, ma'am? Ma'am, just think M
actually
error. M error
Macro
means
is
M means macro error, macro
macro,
error. Yeah. S error, ma'am?
macro variable error.
Right. Invoking an undesired macro variable. Yeah. And next one is M logic. M logic, ma'am?
Uh,
the logic
it will give
of the
the
variable in the log.
Sorry, ma'am. Come again. Sorry, ma'am.
To see the details of the macro variables in the log.
Okay. Okay. How about imprint?
Is
same.
the details of the standard code.
Yeah, it generates
Syntax.
standard code. Right. Right. And it's SAS code, and symbol is simple that it generates a it will generate the resolved macro variable in a detailed way. Okay. Now the next thing is macro functions. Okay. So as you know, to start, to use any kind of function in the macros, you have to use sysfunc for it. Okay, you have to precede a function with a sysfunc statement. Okay. For example, execute SAS functions or user written functions. If we are using any base SAS function in macro, that should call with sysfunc. Okay. So the syntax is simple. Sysfunc of functions of a function name and its arguments come a format. You can mention format, and either you can mention format or not. It's up to you. No, based on the function, you can mention a format or not. Okay. Here. See here. See here. Person sysfunc today, comma date 9 dot. Okay. So this is the format for the sysfunc. I mean format for the particular today. Let Monday equal to sysfunc of substier of. Okay. Let Monday equal to sysfunc of substier of ampersand today. This ampersand today, comma 1, comma 3, comma 3. Okay. Title sysfunc of date monitor absence report.
Actually, you gave it today only.
Okay. Okay.
First, yeah.
That is June 6, 2024. Absence report. Adna. So what can we do in order to You're back, ma'am. Shauta, ma'am. Yeah. It's June. It's June. Hey, June is okay. Ma'am, clear on this? Soon, right? It's fine, right? This funk.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. You see this one? So now we are using an other function called exist function. Okay. So macro checkds uses sysfunc to execute the exist function. So normally exist checks the existence of a particular data set. Okay. Checks the existence of a data set. Okay. So it is simple here. So first thing is, so normally just like do loops, which we have written in an open code, but not in between data and run statement. Okay. The same thing you can mention if statement in this way. Okay. If percentage if this way, percentage if want sysfunc of exist exist ampersand dsn then again percentage then okay percentage then again percentage do then do what then do proc print data equal to ampersand dsn run. Okay. So as we are using a as we're ending the if with the do statement, you should always remember that it should end with ampersand. I mean, it should
In.
end with percentage end else 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 what is the else condition here? Else put the data DSL does not exist. Okay. So here ampersand mend. So what you're mending is what you're closing this. Okay. Check DS. Okay. Ampersand and check DS. So the dataset name to be okay. Here's work.ds settings. So we don't have work.ds. Let's create one.
So I think
This one.
this exist function is something that we can use in standard programming too.
Yes, ma'am. In standard programming also. Yeah. So no, yeah, but exist mostly we use whenever we automate something, ma'am. Whenever we automate uh some kind of a data, I mean some kind of a procedure. So at that time, we check for a file, whether the file exists or not. Okay. Such that I mean, for example, if you are extracting data from a from an external source of file, okay. But firstly, if you just directly if you just directly run the code, it is at the end it will show us it will show us a blank records if the dataset is not present, right? So that blank records will be emailed to all the stakeholders, right? So at that time, they just think that what kind of email is it? They'll just they'll just directly revert back to us stating that no, we got a blank email. Okay, that's not a good sign in terms of coding. Okay, always make sure that we use an exist function such that first of all it just checks whether the file is there or not, and then goes to the next step. Next step is if the file is there, do the no, do the processing. If it isn't there, then no, then then no, just email me such that the file doesn't exist. Right, ma'am? No, instead of a blank email, no, this is more convincing. Right, ma'am?
Yes.
Uh, yeah. So we got in this way. So you entered DS11. Let's pass DS here. And we'll see. You see here, we just got in the log the data set DS does not exist. Okay, right, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah. For example, if I use DS directly, we get this way.